Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we have an episode, right? I don't know what else other to call it, Jeff. Just a random episode here. Well, we don't really have a great topic for it. We're just going to kind of start talking. I think what we were looking at, Jeff, before we started this thing, before we clicked record, is playoff matchups. And this is kind of the time where if you are a team that is kind of set up like your team is, Jeff, right? In our main league, you're kind of a team that's set up. It might be a time to look at some playoff matchups, and mainly what you're going to do, I mean, your players that you've brought you to this point are the players you're going to play for the most part, but defenses are a pretty big deal. And we don't talk about defenses very much at all on this show. We will mention them for 2 minutes at the end of a waiver wire episode a lot. That's about it. So starting last week, we had this great idea that we got to load up on teams that play Buffalo and just pick up all their defenses. Look, how'd that work out last week?
Not well.
Okay, it didn't work out well, but I still think it's a good strategy. I honestly do. I think that was just random. It happens. Look at what Buffalo did to Minnesota earlier in the year. It just happens sometime. The Jets are not a good team, so to trust the Jets to do it all the time is probably not a likely scenario. They can at times. And that leads me to one point, the Jets, week 14. If you're looking to stash defenses right now for the playoffs, you got week 14, round one of playoffs. The Jets are the team that plays Buffalo. They just gave up 41 to Buffalo. Can you play them week 14?
No.
You don't think so?
That one was too big of a killing. I don't think so.
You don't think you'd do it? You don't think you'd stash them?
No, probably not. The other two, I mean, okay.
So would you instead?
I'm okay with the other two.
Would you go Steelers? Would you stash the Steelers right now? They're playing Oakland week 14, week one of the playoffs.
Yes.
Oakland's been bad.
I'll be honest, like Oakland, and this is the tough part. Any of these teams, especially offense, can get their stuff together, right? They can, one QB gets hot and all of a sudden it gets out of control. But I really do believe, I still believe even after this debacle, that people that are playing Buffalo, I don't trust the Jets because of just what happened. It was really, really bad. But anyone playing Buffalo other than Jets and then anyone playing Oakland, I think are safe bets. So with saying that.
So week 14, if you're looking right now, you want to piece together a playoff defense schedule, you're going to go Steelers if they're out there, which they should. They're going to be in a lot of leagues. They're owned in 31.4% of leagues. So you'd piece together Steelers for week 14. Probably. That's the best option. So we're going to go ideal scenario here. So Steelers week 14. What do you got? Week 15, it's the Lions. Lions play Buffalo. Week 15. They haven't had many good games this year. They've only been really bad, I think, twice. I mean, the week one was really bad, but they still actually got a defensive touchdown, made it not so bad. They weren't very good this past week. But playing Buffalo, I still feel like that should be a good matchup. Would you trust that?
I would.
You would?
Yeah, I would. I mean, this is also if you don't have, I'm sure there are other matchups out there that are going to be good with a better defense, but those are tough to come by, right? If you have the Bears, you're probably not too worried about it, right? If you have, one of the top four, Vikings, Rams, Texans, they might have something better. But underneath that, you do have to start looking for these types of matchups, and I don't think that one's necessarily that bad. I know Lions aren't great, but I think the Bills are worse, and okay. I think that this would be okay.
Or would you rather play the Titans against the Giants? Titans now have had a couple good games in a row. They held New England to 10 points. This is what they've done recently. They're actually, I think, the best scoring defense in the NFL with actual points against. They don't maybe make the big plays to get them a huge boost, but they've like points given up. They gave up 10 to New England, 14 to Dallas, 20 to Chargers, 21 to Baltimore. Their worst of the year was 27 against Miami. Since then, it's 23s their worst. Like they've been really good just holding teams down. And they play the Giants, but the Giants, they never put up a big number. I guess Eli could throw a pick or two. So I guess the Lions, you think, might have the bigger potential to have a huge game. Titans are just good and solid, but not, the numbers aren't going to just go way up.
Right, and that's kind of how I feel. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I mean, going for the safer defense,
option,
yeah. Because I mean, really, if all hell breaks loose and the Lions give up a ton and they go negative, and Titans, get 5, it could be a 7-point swing. I don't think that'll happen, but yeah, I mean, Titans are a relatively good defense. I mean, just across the board, they're in the middle of the year, they didn't get you a whole lot, but they're never bad. I mean, they're just good. Like you can throw them in against almost any team.
And then week 16 has to be the Patriots against Buffalo. Right.
Yeah, I'm still clear. Definitely on that bandwagon.
So you would set up your ideal scenario as probably Steelers against Oakland week 14, Lions against Buffalo week 15, Patriots against Buffalo week 16, and figure that's probably your favorite option.
Yeah.
For the most part.
And here's the question is, who do you actually go after right now? Like if you had all 3 of those defenses out there.
Yeah.
You can either go for the first game, which is most likely. You're guaranteed that one. I mean, how many do you grab? How many people can you kick off your team? Because right now the Patriots might be out there actually, because they are 78% owned. They jumped up, obviously, but they did just have a really bad game. They're about to hit a bye. Like they will be out there, but they are number 5 currently, or after. They were 5 before this week, I should say.
I feel like 3 defenses to hold on to is probably too much.
It's too many. It definitely is. And they're going to be, you would have to be in the finals in order to play that team.
Yep. So, I might, it depends on how set you are right now. Like if you're just, you're rolling along at like 9-1, you're set up. You could maybe, I guess it depends. It's hard to know every roster. There's a lot of rosters that, I've been holding players, let's see, like in our league, like Josh Adams is on my bench. Even though I like Josh Adams, I don't think he's going to make a difference. If you're one of these teams that's rolling along, Josh Adams isn't going to make a difference in your championship run, most likely. DJ Moore, who I've been kind of holding on to, hoping something happens, goodbye. Players like a Peyton Barber, who you might be on your bench, I'd rather have the defense. I'd stash the defense rather than a Peyton Barber. Players like Christian Kirk, stash the defense over a Christian Kirk. There's a lot of players like that I think are just, if you really don't see a scenario where you're playing them in the championship run, and even if you got an injury and you had to, if there's an equivalent on the waiver wire, just get rid of the guy and get one of those defenses. Pick up a couple of them, stash them, because the week before they play Buffalo, a couple of these teams, they're going to be the top defensive ad, and you're going to wish you had them. So, Jeff, looking at one of your teams here, you did this move, picked up the Patriots, picked up the Lions. You didn't get rid of much. There's just some random guys in your bench, like whatever, you didn't need to. Would you get rid of, if you had to pick up another one? Would you get rid of Sammy Watkins for the defense if you're not going to use him? It's risky, but
no, I probably wouldn't. No,
it's a little too much.
You need that depth. I think 2 defenses is enough.
Yeah.
I don't feel good enough to stock up on 3, and I think, and at the end of the day too, I did get the Patriots, which I would have to get to the finals in order to use them for week 16. But I also like their matchup against Miami, so if push came to shove, I could use them in week 14 as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I do have a 14, 15, 16 option.
Yep.
That first one is the one that probably is the weakest one. Miami versus New England could go either way, but I still like it. They scored in our, obviously in our league in standard, they did score, New England scored 10 against Miami the first time they played. So Yeah. It's all trending up in the right direction.
So if, let's say you're not a playoff team yet, you don't want to make that move. You do not want to go pick up those defenses because you're not guaranteed anything right now. I think then you need to get these defenses for this little stretch run here. You're not going to be able to pick up for the next 2 weeks the team playing Buffalo. Buffalo's on a bye and Buffalo plays Jacksonville. You're not going to be able to get that. But you can get Miami week 13, which could make all the difference in the world. And if you're in or if you're not. So, Jeff, you don't need to pick them up in yours. And hopefully no one from our league's listening because I just dropped the Dolphins the other day because I needed to make a pickup. And I'm going to re-pick them up. So, Wayne, if you're listening, you don't need them. Just hold off. You don't need them. And shoot, I might hold off and release this episode late so he doesn't hear this. But Miami's a good week 13 option. They're playing Buffalo week 13. And they've been a decent defense, I would say. They've had some good weeks, they've had some bad weeks. They're up and down, but they are a team that if they play a bad team, they should, do pretty well. So I think week 13, you might stash Miami here. Week 12, let's see, who's playing Oakland that week? Is anybody playing Oakland? We got Ravens. They're probably taken, so you're not going to be able to get it. That's going to be tough if the Ravens are out there playing Oakland, yeah, definitely pick them up. Jacksonville and Ravens are both great options that week, but they're not going to be out there in your leagues. So that makes it a little tougher. It's not a great option in week 12 that I can see right now. Browns against Bengals, the way the Bengals played. That could be a decent move there. But you could piece one together. Patriots against Jets. There we go. That's why you pick up the Patriots, right? You pick up the Patriots now. You play them week 12. Then if you make the playoffs, you got them.
Yeah.
Against Buffalo at the end.
Well, they're a fine defense anyway. So that's why I do like that strategy.
If they're out there.
Yeah, if they're out there.
Yep.
And at the time I picked them up, it was just happenstance. People were dropping them because of bye weeks and all of that kind of stuff. So, you kind of get your hands on it. And that's why we're trying to put this one out a little bit earlier so you can
get them before
look ahead.
Yeah, get them before the rest of your... most likely no one else in your league is thinking about this. It's just probably not on their radar right now, I would say. And how about be the one to do that and get the best defensive matchups and just give yourself a good advantage right now for the playoffs. So I think it's really the way to go. And defenses can really change the entire thing. You can have a huge defensive game and you could win a championship that you didn't deserve winning, win a playoff game you shouldn't have won. The rest of your players didn't show up, but you get the team that plays. Well, okay, the only problem is Buffalo just released Nathan Peterman. So
yeah, they did.
So that is are they going to be as bad?
I mean, no, not as bad, but I still don't think they're going to be good.
They shouldn't be, but I think it's a good matchup. I don't care that they scored 41 points. Anything else for the playoff run? Defenses are the big thing, because honestly, the rest of your team, you pretty much have set. You really do. There's not much you're going to be able to go find. Is there a player you can maybe target here to try to get with maybe you still have 1 or 2 weeks maybe for the trade deadline? It's hard to, there's not a player to me that stands out with just this amazing playoff schedule, amazing run here. That's going to be the best one to get. I mean, yeah, Alvin Kamara plays Tampa. That's going to be great, but you're not going to get Kamara, are you? Are you going to give him up? No, the team that has him isn't going to give him up. Mark Ingram, though, could be interesting because he is going to go against Tampa in week 1 of the playoffs. And maybe this is a game where they decide to just run the ball with Ingram. They don't need to do other stuff. They can just beat up on him. But there's not I don't see a great player to really target here.
I mean, honestly, if I'm looking at people, I mean, I don't know what people will be able to, I don't know who they will be willing to give up. But I do have to say, David Johnson has one heck of a schedule, actually. He's trending in the right direction. He's still David Johnson. He's got the name. I don't know if people will be willing to give him up, but he is ranked 15th or so he's not out of the realm of possibility. McCaffrey has been killing it, unfortunately, so you won't be able to get him now. But he has a pretty good, list of matchups going into the playoffs as well.
All right, well, here's one I kind of like. This would be, it won't be, okay, this is why it's not going to be great. He might even have a bad week this next week. It depends on when your trade deadline is. So some people have it after this week. So Kerryon Johnson plays Carolina this week. Tough matchup. He might do nothing. Then he plays Chicago, plays the Rams. So he's going to have a stretch run here these 3 weeks where it's going to look bad. And actually, it benefits you if your trade deadline's even a little bit later. This is perfect because he could have 2 bad weeks and you could trade for him. Because then he plays Arizona and plays Buffalo in the playoffs. I think this is a good playoff running back. Arizona in the first week of the playoffs, Buffalo in the second week of the playoffs. I think Kerryon Johnson could be a good one. He's going to have a tough 3 weeks here, but then I think he's good. I think that's a good matchup. Week 1 of the playoffs, Arizona has been bad against running backs. They were 31st in the league going into the last week. They've given up a lot. So okay, Kerryon Johnson's one that's down there a little bit that you might be able to target, might be able to get. So, or, oh geez, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Oh, God, Jeff. Alex Collins.
Even with a good matchup.
Look at that. Look at the schedule. Look at all of Alex Collins' schedule going up here. Plays Cincinnati this week.
Woof.
Then Oakland.
Woof.
Atlanta.
No, my God, you're not
Kansas
joking.
City, and then Tampa. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that is the king of all matchups going down the line.
So if they had a quarterback, you'd be like, that's the quarterback I want. And maybe it is Lamar Jackson. Maybe Lamar Jackson's a championship winner.
Right, maybe. Crazier things have happened.
If you listen to our waiver wire episode, we talked about Jackson a little bit. If we really had looked into his schedule a little bit more, we might have even been more interested because this could be a player. If they use him, this is the schedule to do it.
And yeah, it's great because none of those teams can stop the run. None of them.
So does this mean John Brown?
I'm not. And the truth is, with Lamar Jackson, I don't know if he'll be a prolific passer.
No, I know. But if Lamar Jackson's not there, and Flacco is just the quarterback, is John Brown the option? Michael Crabtree. They might be better options than we think. John Brown might be a better option than we give him credit for because that's a pretty decent schedule. I kind of like that.
That's an amazing schedule.
It really is, right? I mean, that's...
But seriously, though, with the Alex Collins, though.
Yeah, that's...
Because my only worry, and I don't think any of those teams can stop the run necessarily, but when you hit Atlanta and KC, mostly those two teams, right?
Yeah. Is it going to be a shootout?
Right. Are they going to be up so much that it's not going to matter?
That's possible. That's where it gets worrisome. Maybe they don't use Alex Collins in that way. So maybe Joe Flacco's a better option or Lamar. It's just, that's one to watch. You watch the Baltimore player. I wish they had better players that we like. I like John Brown, but wish they had a quarterback that you could trust because you'd be like, that is the guy I want. Those are the players I want.
Yeah,
it's very intriguing though.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by Lamar Jackson. But the problem with that is so many QBs have been good that it's very easy to stream. But I don't know. Here's the question. Would you throw him on your team just to see one game?
I would.
And then you can figure it out from there. Don't play him. Just put him on your team.
Why can't he put up points like Deshaun Watson has in the past? I mean, throwing wise, maybe not, but there's so many players. There's the running ability alone just makes him so valuable. It really does.
I mean, look at Russell Wilson right now. Yeah, he doesn't have anyone to throw it to, and he had 90 yards rushing the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's man, it's very intriguing. I'll say that. Baltimore's the one team I'm kind of looking at here. So, that's by far the best, I think the best schedule there. What about a team like, okay, players maybe to go the opposite end here. What do you feel about Tom Brady? Week 14, plays Miami. It's not been great. Miami's been pretty good. Tom Brady's just not been good. Would you just look for somebody else right now? Would you? Okay, You wouldn't do this. But if Joe Flacco was the quarterback, would you play him? No.
No, I wouldn't still. Yeah, Tom Brady, he's going to have the truth about Tom Brady, he just hasn't been very good. And not necessarily, doesn't mean he's been playing bad football necessarily, but fantasy-wise, the past 3 weeks have been pretty abysmal. And yeah, he's played 2 good teams and he's about to have a bye. But, Giants, Minnesota, Miami, none of them are cakewalks. They're relatively good passing defenses. But then you do hit Pittsburgh and it would be a shootout in week 15, which is the silver lining. I still think he would probably rank in my top 10, but there are definitely players I would play over him.
Phillip Rivers. This is the guy. This is the team to target. This is the player to target. Phillip Rivers. Playoff schedule, he gets Cincinnati, Kansas City. Week 13, if you're trying to get in the playoffs, he plays Pittsburgh. Should be a shootout. Plays Arizona week 12.
Yeah, well, you don't want to play him. So, week 11 and 12, you don't really want him. But Rivers for the playoff run is 12, money.
Arizona should be. Well, Arizona, okay, that's okay. Arizona's number one because of the fact I think that they can just be run on all day.
Right.
That's what it is.
And Melvin Gordon can just have a heyday.
Yeah. But Rivers after that, 13, 14, 15. So if you're playoffs of 14, 15, I think Rivers. I'm playing Phillip Rivers over Tom Brady.
I would. Especially 13 and 15. You have to believe.
We've said to target this guy before because I still think you can because it didn't have a huge week. But I think Keenan Allen's a target here. I'd go get Keenan Allen if you're traded right now. I would go get Keenan Allen. He only had 6 for 57. He had one good week. The touchdown makes it so his value's up there a little bit, but I don't think Keenan Allen owners are necessarily excited about what he's done. So I would go out and target Keenan Allen. I would try to see what I could do. See if I can get him. I don't know exactly maybe what you'd have to offer to get Keenan Allen, but that's the thing. Like, what would you offer to get Keenan Allen? What would it take? Because he still has some name value. So I don't know what kind of combination of players it would take. That's the thing. You'd have to figure that one out on your team. But
I think there's a bunch of people ranked ahead of him that I would definitely give up. But the name recognition alone would keep him in the discussion, right?
Oh yeah.
But
Keenan Allen, I'd target him.
I would too. I'm trying to. Here's some guys just to throw it around in your head. Keenan Allen. Would you rather have Keenan Allen or Stephon Diggs?
Oh man, you're trying to use my Diggs love.
He can go. Obviously, he can go big, right? He started off.
But if I'm looking at this for playoff matchup, I want Keenan Allen. I think he is much better. Diggs. It's not like Diggs has these just terrible tough matchups, but he's been hurt. We don't know exactly what he'll do coming back. And Keenan Allen, I really like that schedule. I really like what Keenan Allen could possibly do. So yeah, I would. I think I would be picking. I think I want Keenan Allen over Stephon Diggs. Yeah, I definitely do. I want Keenan Allen there. Okay, Keenan Allen or Mike Evans. So Evans should be a good matchup week 14 playing against the Saints, but we never quite know if it is. I think I would take Keenan Allen over Mike Evans. Would I lean that way too?
Right now, yeah. The way Evans is playing, I would have to go Keenan Allen.
Yeah. Right. I think that's Keenan Allen. I like Keenan Allen here. A lot of these positions. Keenan Allen or AJ Green if he comes back. Green plays.
Oh, if Green comes back, I would probably go Green. But that does. What about? Emmanuel Sanders. He is still ranked incredibly high.
If someone out there actually wants Emmanuel Sanders for Keenan Allen, God, I'm gonna trade that and not try to get too excited by when he offers me to it. I'm gonna try not to make him think that how terrible a deal that is for him.
I know, I agree, but he is still ranked in the top 10.
It's just just get away from me.
No, 100%. But I'm just saying,
I can't do it.
He is a name. If you have him, he is a name that you can throw out and they'll show his numbers next to his name and you'll get excited.
It depends on the league you're in and the type of people you're playing against for sure. They might, if it's just completely numbers based people, you might be able to steal one on them. I'm gonna go. I'll go Keenan Allen all day.
Right. I will pair up Emmanuel Sanders and Deshaun Jackson. Two people that two people that I do not want at all, that are both ranked higher than Keenan Allen.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of guys up here, right? I mean, technically, the people that are ranked above him, it's for one or two big games. I mean, you're talking, there is Lockett, John Brown, Kelvin Ridley. I mean, would you trade Tyler Boyd? Obviously,
yeah.
Right?
Oh,
I would
yeah,
absolutely do that.
Yeah,
Deshaun Jackson. There's
I would definitely
a short list of players.
Tyler Boyd. Yeah, Tyler Boyd's interesting. I would package Tyler Boyd and somebody to go get Keenan Allen and somebody worthwhile. But Tyler Boyd and Emmanuel Sanders, I would package those two up all day to go get Keenan Allen. Boyd and Sanders, I would trade those two. I'd get Keenan Allen. I would do that without a doubt. Without a doubt. And that actually can get through. There might be some people that are thinking I'm an idiot for saying that. But I would go Boyd and Sanders for Keenan Allen all day.
Yeah, 100%.
I would. I think I hope most people are on our side on that one. But some people would maybe not go that way because there's a lot of Boyd fans out there. I like Tyler Boyd, but he's not a number one guy.
No,
he's just not.
The way Cincinnati is playing right now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't trust that. Yep. All right. I think that's about all I got. Just some interesting. We'll have more next week. We'll bring up some more matchups. We'll learn a little bit more after week 11. Maybe there's a defense that we really think that'll stand out. Some other players, some situations. So, yeah, or injuries, and maybe there's some huge waiver wire pickup that all of a sudden changes who you should target. But yeah, that's I don't know. There'll be some more out there. I don't really know. I'm just looking again here. Just trying to see if there's one I really like. Kenny Galladay going to the playoffs. I like Kenny Galladay. Arizona, Buffalo. But then again, Arizona, like we said, for some reason they're good against the pass right now. It's really weird. So, I don't know. Kerryon Johnson should have a good day running the ball. But all right, I think that'll do it for today. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll have, do a little listener questions again. So get your questions in. You might have some trade questions, maybe follow up with some of these Keenan Allen trades you have out there, or like we said, Kerryon Johnson, we think that's a pretty good matchup. So anything, these players that we mentioned today, if you're looking to trade for them, give us your questions on them. See who you have, who you could package up to get them. So we'll definitely try to answer as many of those as we can on tomorrow's show. And we'll go over some point spreads. To say it wasn't a good week, Jeff.
Nope, definitely not.
It was ugly. But we'll go over that tomorrow. Talk to you guys then.